Regular viewers of the channel may well know exactly where I am. This is Budby South Forest, former Military Defence Training Ground, and now under the care and attention of the RSPB. Quite frankly, I prefer it when the army had it, but we have to make do with what we've got. And this section of Budby is right at the side of the rather noisy A616. Sorry about that. But over numerous invertebrate surveys, this is the section of Budby which has produced the most species. And the reason it's produced the most species is that up until a couple of years ago, it had never been touched, it's never been sprayed, and it's never been grazed. And you don't need to go to university to work out just why this section has more invertebrates on it than the other sections, which are grazed and sprayed. But being late August now, the number of insects that we can possibly find here today is limited. In fact, it's just been drizzling a little bit, but it looks nice because heather's out. It smells nice. And the heather's also dying out on Budby, as I've mentioned before. All of Budby used to be like this, with a really good covering of grass. And it's been far too overgrazed for me, and the quality of the heather's deteriorated, and a lot of it is now like that. I've got said beating tray today, hoping to beat a Caranus species, which is an assassin bug. And the Caranus species that's been found on here before is black on the underside and is likely to be Caranus ethiops. But we need a male. Did myself found a female a few years ago, and when people saw that the underside was black, there was only 2 species it could be, neither of which at the time were found in the UK, but it has been found at a South Yorkshire heathland site, and, if I remember right, down Cornwall way. And it's certainly this species here, but unfortunately we need a male to prove it, because the 2 species of Caranus with black undersides are virtually identical. But to find any today, I mean, we have found an adult female here, and we've found a nymph a good number of years ago on the country park, on a bit of heathland there. That would be the best thing we could find today, but I think it's a case of going down there and see what we can turn up. I'm going to bash heather today, fed up of bashing ivy. She don't put up any resistance. Here on Budby, just with beating tray, having a wander, and here's a delightful little jumping spider. This is Ivarca falcata, very common in Sherwood. Adults for most of the year, to be honest, but jumping spiders are real characters, and if ever you could love a spider, it's one of these. They're not big, not dangerous, as neither are any UK spiders, and they're just cute, and they have fabulous eyesight. I thought it'd be nice to just sit under these trees a bit while these trees are here. The RSPB and their infinite wisdom are taking most of these out. We shouldn't be taking any trees out. As I've said before, not at a time when we're being encouraged to plant them, and here you've got conservation organisations taking mature trees out. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. But anyway, while I'm here, I've just beaten these two chaps. And just beaten these off the lower branches of said pines. And these are eyed ladybirds with a female, the lower one, and the male that's just about to do a runner. Now these can get a lot redder than these. These are quite fresh out. We'll let him zoom off probably. There we go. And this female is on the move now. Stay there a minute. And these are our largest ladybird, larger even than 7-spot and harlequins. This isn't quite the largest one I've seen, but it's not far off. And occasionally, eyed ladybirds, although they are predominantly a pine and heathland, pine woodland and heathland species, they will turn up in unusual places, such as my dad and brother's house, their front window on the outside. That's at Mapley, so well away from your typical woodland. I think we even had this at home in Market Warsop. But really nice ladybird. It's relatively easy to find if you bash enough pines, at least while they're here. But one that most have probably never seen. And say it can get red, much redder than this, rather than this sort of almost light mahogany brownish. But a cracking species, say our largest ladybird. This is the eyed ladybird. And this is me enjoying these restful pines and a not so restful A616. It's a pity they couldn't chop some trees down across that and block it off. Do more good. Here's a nice moth. Occasionally you find it nectaring at flowers during the day, and this is an antler moth. Predominantly in knots anyway, a heathland species. But I've had it 2 records at home, which is 3 or 4 miles away from heathland, and it does wander a bit. But it really is an attractive moth. This one's showing a bit of wear on the edges of the forewings. There's a nice opportunity with this. I've just beat this off a bit of heather, and here we go. It's just starting to warm up its wings now, or using its wings, should I say, to warm itself up, because that's how they become active. When moths that have been resting and aren't warm enough to fly, they generate heat by vibrating the wings. Doesn't look as though they're vibrating much on video, but I can assure you it's vibrating its wings 5 or 6 times quicker than what you can see. And very soon it'll have generated enough heat into the muscles, and off it'll go. But it's a lovely moth. It's common in Sherwood, and there we go, look, off it goes. Probably to be disturbed by me at a later date, no doubt. So that's a little glimpse of the antler moth. Just moved out from under the pines, and I'm going to have a bash around here. Maybe even a bit of grubbing. Which involves getting on hands and knees and grubbing around. And despite it being mild, there's not many insects out and about. There's plenty when you beat trees. Lots of harvestmen, two of the smaller harvestmen, Paragolophus agrestis and Aligolophus hanseni. There's plenty of them. And I've just seen my second butterfly of the visit, which is a small heath. The only other butterfly is speckled wood. But the heather is flowering far less than it used to, and the heather, to be honest, is dying out. There's no two ways about it. And it's down to management that should have been done years ago. The grazing's not working. The grazing, to me, and you've got a ton and a half of beast yomping all over the place. They just flatten it, break it, kill it. So you have less new growth like that. That's about all there is, really, to be honest, in this area. I could look for some more, but you can see how it is, the heather. They'll say, oh, it's wonderful, but it isn't. The grass always used to be like this, and it always used to flower because they didn't used to graze it. And it was never grazed. And the army didn't do anything to maintain it. But the army manoeuvres obviously did something. But it wasn't in the state that it is now. It's neat, still may well look very nice. Indeed it is. You can't get away from that. But the amount of heather on here has probably reduced by a third, I would imagine, from what I can remember. And apart from scrape the surface off and put seed down, I can't see what they're going to do, because to me grazing has not worked one iota. There's still patches of bracken on here, and so, as I said before in previous videos, that they won't get rid of. But in terms of heather quality, they failed miserably. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. It has been known, as they used to say to Dillis. We shall see in coming years, but no doubt they'll say what a marvellous job they're doing, but sorry, don't think so. I've walked around here now for, well, a good hour. You know what's missing? Bees. I've seen one, and I've just disturbed it, to be honest. Bombus bumblebee. Normally, and in previous videos where I've featured either Erica or Kaluna heathers and mentioned about its importance as a nectar source for bumblebees and solitary bees and a huge range of flies and other insects, there's nothing. I know I'm sat in a patch of heather that's not very good, and they say neither is most of it. And I know it's been an early-ish season, but there's just no bees. Very strange. Got a caterpillar here. Not sure what it is. It could well be something just like that common heath, but it's darker than one that I found earlier, but you never know. I actually enjoy looking for larvae now. Sometimes many moths can be rare enough to find, attract to light, or even see. And the caterpillars of some species are more spectacular than the actual moth itself. But they're also rarer, because I don't think many people actively go looking for caterpillars now. I showed you one of these earlier on, but this is the best one I've ever seen. This is a Varka hulcata. But what a stunning spider. Little jumping spider, but I've never seen one marked as well as this. What an absolute stunner. Just look at that. But also look at the camouflage now. It's a stunning little species. Presumed freshly molted. Let's just see if we can bring it back this way a little bit. There's such characters, jumping spiders. If you was going to try and sell a cuddly toy of a spider, you won't go far wrong if you did it as a jumping spider. It's a characteristic spider of Nottinghamshire heathlands. We can get it to come back this way a bit. I've lost it. Oh, there we are. And a marvellous, beautiful thing. Absolute corker. Beautiful. Yesterday I was filming a southern hawker dragonfly which allowed close approach, and that was fantastic. And that little beauty's not so bad itself, is it? So that's a Varka hulcata, a stunning individual on Budby. Oh, so I just stopped to have a minute while I'm on my travels, and just come across this nice sorrel. And this sorrel has a new species for Budby on it, or at least the signs. And it's that leaf vine there, that spiral-like leaf vine, which is the leaf vine of Entutia acetosa, and I believe is the smallest of the UK's moths. There's another vine here, look. It starts off as a tight spiral, and then the gallery becomes more random. And here's a leaf with several mines on, look, in various stages. And the moth only has a wingspan of about 4 mil. It's tiny barnacle. I've never seen the adult, and to be honest, this is only the second or third time that I've seen the mines. And this is about the only bit of sorrel that I've found, actually. And these mines on sorrel, they always turn red. They're incredibly distinctive. These are unoccupied, or two of them are, the larger ones. So that's a nice little thing to find. So they are vacated now. And this is another one. So it's a nice little record, that is. There's a lot of mines on that. So that's the UK's smallest moth. The first record of it on Budby. Well, it's been quite an enjoyable couple of hours, if I do say so, through gritted deep. Found a few bits, some photographs, had a decent plod around, and it's occupied us for a couple of hours. So now it's back home for a bit of snap. I might have a drink. Nah. Don't know how long this will stay, but here's another one of our largest hoverflies. If I remember right, it's Sericomia selenitis. And it's a beast of a thing. Not every day you see one, but it's an absolute corker. But, it's just starting to get a bit nervous, as do most things when they see me. And I think don't like the look of him, and off he goes. But cracking things. And that's just as I'm walking off. So a decent couple of hours. Picked up a lot of records and things. There's a new myriad bug for here. Philochorus cinnamonatus or something like that. Same species as I found on Vexation Lane on Pines a few weeks ago. And that's on a couple of pines along the roadside here. So now it's through the gate and to dice with death while I cross the road and dodge that lot.